Hello and welcome to the Becoming Your Highest Self podcast. I'm your host, Macy Renee, and we are going on a journey together, my friend. If you've been looking for a podcast geared towards your growth, self-awareness, navigating your brain's daily mind drama, and deep inner work to become your highest and best self, you are in the perfect place. Let's get started. Welcome back to another episode of Becoming Your Highest Self podcast. I'm Macy Renee, and I'm so excited to have you with me this Monday morning or whenever you're listening. If you're a returning listener, welcome. It's always good to have you back. And if you're brand new, welcome to the podcast. I hope that you enjoy what you hear on this platform. All right, let's dive into today's topic. And today's topic is going to be self-awareness around the holidays because the holidays are quickly approaching. I'm actually getting ready. I hope you cannot hear my washer too loud in the background, but I'm getting everything ready because I am actually flying home. My family doesn't know. It's a surprise. But by the time this episode launches, they will know that I came and surprised them. I've only been living in Las Vegas for 4 weeks as of today, actually. It's been my 4th week away from my family. And I think my family and friends are probably struggling with this a little bit more than I have. I thought that I would be the one that is really having a hard time, but I think it's mostly been just my family, even though they're extremely proud of us and everything that we're doing and chasing our dreams and, are rooting for us. It's still an adjustment to not be able to just get in the car and drive. So I'm going to get in the plane and ride and go home and surprise them. So this will launch and they will already know, so that way I'm not ruining the surprise. So anyways, I want to talk about self-awareness around the holidays because the holidays can be a very high-stress time. They're a very happy time, I would say, for many people, but they can also be a very high-stress time because in family, or with family, we don't always have amazing dynamics with every single person. A lot of times people say there's always that one person in the family, meaning that there's always that one person that maybe people struggle with or struggle to be around or that cause drama. But even if not that, without self-awareness, the holidays can be a time of super high emotion, especially if you're grieving, if you've recently lost someone or you've lost someone that was just so impactful and special to you around the holidays. So for me and my family, my great-grandparents, my Oma and Opa, they always hosted our Christmas Eves, for example. And Christmas Eve was a big deal. It was like the one time of the year we were all guaranteed as a family to come together. My aunts, my uncles, my cousins, everybody, my mom, my sisters, my grandparents, we were all together. And after they both passed away, we haven't had a family Christmas Eve together since. It's been pretty devastating. My great-grandma passed away in June of, it's hard to keep track, 2019. Thankfully, she missed all of the COVID stuff. I'm not happy that she's gone, but I am happy that she missed all of that because that would have made her a nervous wreck. So since she's been gone, we haven't celebrated Christmas for one reason or the other. And it's been challenging. And so in recent years, we've been trying to think of different holidays like Thanksgiving and whatnot that we can invite family and see if we can all come together. But even in making that effort, there, have been family members that just will not come around now that the glue of the family is kind of gone. And so it's been a grieving process. So the holidays in general are high stress, and you never know how other people are handling the changes that are coming along with the holidays. So you can think of how maybe you're sad, or even how, even though you're sad, you want to keep the tradition as much as possible. And so you'll do whatever to keep to keep everything as normal as possible. But meanwhile, somebody else in your family may not want to get together at all because they're grieving how different it is. And then you may not have another person in the family that is, really, really excited to get together, but then let down whenever they realize that it's not the way that it used to be. So during the holidays, especially when there's been life changes, it can be very difficult to navigate that. And that's why self-awareness during the holidays is so very important, because self-awareness is our reminder that, not everybody is feeling what you're feeling. Not everybody is thinking what you're thinking. And when you're aware of yourself and how you're feeling, it can help the holidays and your dynamics with your family and friends run much more smoothly. So last year, and I think I talked about this on the podcast, last year I was not proud of behavior that I had around the holidays, Thanksgiving specifically. There was a situation with a family member, and I really lost myself for the first time in like almost 30 years. I was, 28, almost 29, I guess. No, I was 29. In almost 30 years, I had never snapped, and I had never lost myself during a high intensity moment. And last year at the holidays, I just lost it. And I spent my Thanksgiving crying at the dinner table, embarrassed that I behaved the way that I did and upset with the way things were going. And after I processed that emotion, I realized that a big reason I even acted like that was because I was triggered, and rather than recognizing my emotions in the moment and letting myself just feel disappointed and sad, I got angry, and I really lacked the impulse control in that moment. And then after I exploded, then I wasn't proud of it. So then I felt guilt and shame. And then after that, when I decided to come back into my body and not shame myself and just really let myself, not be necessarily okay with the outcome, even though it's hindsight, I couldn't change it, but just be with myself, I should say, I was able to recognize that the reason that I even acted out was because of past trauma that wasn't healed and triggers that I had never faced before. So when you're doing this work of becoming your highest self, and you're doing the work of really sinking into your body and leaning into your feelings and getting to know yourself and working on your mindset and building up your emotional intelligence, you're really never just doing that for you. It impacts everybody that's around you too, because you never know until the moment when you're triggered, right, that you're going to necessarily be triggered. But how you respond can make the difference. And if I would have been more self-aware even last year around this time, knowing that the holidays are sensitive for everybody, and had more compassion of it's not just me living in my world of wanting everything to be perfect the way that it used to be when certain people were still alive, and when traditions felt more normal, and when COVID wasn't making everything feel crazy. It's not just me that is seeking that, so were other family members. And so really, when I look back even a year ago, I didn't have a lot of compassion for my own aching heart, and I didn't have the space because I wasn't holding enough space for myself, which meant I didn't have enough space to hold that same compassion and understanding to other family members who might have been feeling grief or high stress, or just lack of interest, or kind of dread around the holidays because certain people were missing, because the state of our world was crazy, just a million different things. I never thought to factor in anybody else's emotions except for my own. So I want you to consider that this holiday season, when you're trying to plan get-togethers, whether that's at your home or you go to several homes, or you have a tradition that you've done for 20, 30, 40 years, that when you're aware of yourself and you have really done this work to be in your body and feel your feelings and know your triggers, when you know that Uncle Joe is going to say the thing he always says, and that you have the power to decide how you're going to react to it, right? You don't have to react to it if you do not want to. You don't have to take ownership of something a family member says if you don't want to. It's that ownership that takes our power away, right? If someone says like, hey, it looks like you've been eating a lot of turkey this year. You get to decide whatever you think about that, whatever you think about them, how you want to respond. You can let it ruin your whole weekend. You can make it, create this hatred for that family member, or you can just really manage your own emotions in that moment and take your power back and create the kind of holiday experience that you want to have. Now, I'm not saying that it's easy, because in families, like I said, there's a lot of different dynamics. There's a lot of different personalities. There are people who feel that they can say just about anything, and they can. That's their right. But you also get to decide how you respond to it. And I would say, are you responding in a way that makes you proud? Are you responding in a way that your highest self would respond versus how maybe your everyday current self would respond when you're triggered or upset? Think about those things and really think about how you want the holidays to go this year, and who do you need to be and how do you need to show up in order to create that experience. And if something happens that throws a wrench in your plans, how does your highest self handle those changes in order to still create the experience that feels good for you and for your family, no matter what that looks like. And that could be deciding this year, like maybe, and this could go multiple ways, right? Let's say you go to the same family dinner every single year, and every single year someone starts drama and you just dread it. You just don't even love going and spending that time with the family because you just know it's going to be dramatic and you don't like it. Maybe your highest self this year decides that you're not going to people please whenever you feel uncomfortable, and that you're going to set boundaries for yourself. And when the drama breaks out, you leave early, even if you haven't eaten yet, or even if the party was just getting started. That maybe this year your highest self says, you know what, when I'm not feeling comfortable or I do not like the way my family is treating each other, we walk away and we go do our own thing as a family, because this is just not worth it to me. I've done it for the last 10 years and it doesn't feel good anymore. That could be something that happens with your highest self. Your highest self may also, if you host something at your home and, somebody makes a comment or drama breaks out, you get to decide how your highest self handles it. Do you avoid it? Maybe like you have every single year, or, maybe you've taken a side every single year. Can this year be the year where maybe you find compassion and neutrality and see both sides of a situation and not take a side, right? Or just be the neutral party that lets them vent what they need to vent. Like, you could just get to decide. There's no right or wrong. You truly get to choose that for yourself and for your family. And I know after, what we experienced last year as a family, I would know how to handle it differently this time. I would know, not to let it impact me the same way. And that would be a very beautiful thing as well, to be able to just enjoy my family. So this is a short episode, but I hope that you get something from it. Self-awareness around the holidays can be so very important. Remember that, whatever you're feeling, so can other people. And other people may not be doing the self-awareness work. So if they're coming in and they're creating a lot of turmoil or sadness or drama or whatever they're creating, or they're just nasty, it is your choice to be able to reach out and experience compassion for them. And I wish I had done that more last year, if I would have gotten out of my own head, right, out of my own way. But the problem is the only way to offer compassion for other people is if you're giving enough compassion to yourself for when you have an off day, when you have a bad day, that you're not shaming yourself, that you're not guilting yourself. And when you get really good at making sure that you hold the space for your own emotions and your own experiences without judgment, then you will be able to hold that space for other people as well. and maybe see things differently, which is, incredibly special if you can get to that place. So I love you guys. I hope that you have an amazing Thanksgiving. I hope that this was helpful and someone needed it, even if it's just one person out there. And I will see you guys next Monday. Bye. Oh, and before I forget, I totally forgot to include this. I'm actually going to include it now. If you have been thinking about working together one-on-one and you love Black Friday, message me personally, mention Black Friday. I will let you know what I have in store. And I hope that you all have an amazing Thanksgiving. Okay, bye. Bye for real this time.